including this document, little one pager. And you'll be able to actually click around and see the studies and the application and things that we've already submitted. So it's easier for the public to see that. And then on that page, you can actually type in questions, submit them. It goes right to my email. So if anyone has any questions or specifics, feel free to type it in that box and shoot questions. No problem. And so maybe Lydia, do you want to take it over and just do a walk through the details, and I'll put this up here?
Sure. This site is off of South Gravel Road, as Dave mentioned.
Lydia, I think you need to go near. We need a stick for you.
Yeah. So this is an access road being represented here. It'll be 20 feet wide. And it comes into the property. This is an active apple orchard. And it will turn north here, and there's a single turbine up on the north side of the site, and then you turn down, and this is a second turbine on the south side of the site, and this is a construction area while it's under construction. And this is, so it's between these two parcels. It's over 2,000 feet from the nearest residence. We have some wetlands we're avoiding over in this corner here. And that's pretty much it to the site.
Yeah. I guess happy to answer any questions from the town board at this
Now,
point.
how can you run through
Speaker,
how tall?
Get the speaker.
Can you run through how tall the turbines are going to be and that? And then another question to follow that up. How do you figure out what the town of Shelby gets, its people get? How do you figure that?
Sure. Yeah. So first question, how tall? Wind turbine towers have been going up pretty steadily every decade or so. So the towers, the top of the tower will be 400 feet. The thing that's really changed with wind turbines in the last decade is the blades. They've got a lot lighter and a lot longer. So between the 400-foot top of the tower and the tip of the blade is an extra 240 feet or so. So the blades themselves are up above that tower. So the tip of the structure is about 640, 650 feet. And the most important thing to know about modern wind turbines is where you used to have to build 5 or 6 wind turbines, you can now build 1. So the old wind farms that, like down in Orangeville, there's one in the early 2000s, folks may be familiar with. I want to say there's 100 turbines there. Today, you could do the same kind of project with 15 wind turbines instead of 100. So the reason I bring all that up is wind turbines from back then are quite different, in that the new ones have much longer blades. Those blades spin much more slowly. So they're about 8 RPMs is the rate at which those blades spin. So they are much easier to site without noise issues and that kind of thing. That's number one. John, can you remind me of your second question?
How do you figure the money that the town gets? And what basis? How do you figure that?
So the money the town gets. So the way that we figure that is, and the town could elect to take that money over time if they'd like. So that 200,000 roughly, that's a number that would be one-time payment up front. It could be spread out over time. So over a 15-year period, if you'd like. The way that we figure that out is primarily based on the wind speeds at the site and what we can afford with respect to the taxes and the contributions to the town. So this is an unusual thing. So typically renewable projects like this do not do what I'm saying, but because wind energy is quite literally the most economically attractive technology we have today. If you have the wind and you put a wind turbine up, this project doesn't even need state funding. So we are not even getting state funding. So what I'm saying is a good project like this has extra funds that we allocate in our budget towards the towns. And the reason we do that is, typically counties and school districts do pretty well on the tax benefits, and towns, get a smaller amount. So what we do with our towns is we work with them up front and say, the town generally will do all the work to permit the wind projects. Folks in town, whether they love the look of wind turbines or not, many of them will have to, look at the wind turbine. So we actually take these things into consideration. We say, I think it's reasonable to provide the town a host community agreement because we want to be a good neighbor, frankly. So back to your question, how do you calculate it? What's the wind speeds? If the wind speeds were significantly higher, we could create a little more electricity. We could potentially offer a little bit more. But we already have about a year of data, which is why I'm pretty confident in that number.
That's just a one-time deal. After that's done, there's no more to the town.
If you'd like, we could spread it out.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's a one-time, 200,000, say, is one time. Whether you spread it out or you pay it one lump sum, that's all the town's going to get.
Yep. So the town would get a total, if 2 turbines, $400,000,
One time.
and you could do that 400,000 year one, or we could spread it 15 years. And that actually, host community agreements are treated differently than tax. So I don't think it counts towards your tax cap. But those, ahead of my, what did I say? Ahead of your skis. I'm over. Yeah.
Over your skis.
Thank you. I knew you'd correct me. But yes, that's right.
So you're talking roughly $26,000 over the per year average, depending on how the wind's blowing and how much it generates.
Well, the good thing is the agreement will be a fixed amount and it will not fluctuate with how much it produces every year. When I was talking about, when I brought up, it depends on the wind, what I meant by that is, well, we already have 1 year of wind data we've captured. And with a year of wind data, with wind energy, you can pretty much predict what you're going to be producing, plus or minus 10% per year. So we had to figure out exactly, precisely what everyone around here already knows is that it's windy, but we need to know exactly how windy. And we have I have a draft that host community agreement we can provide. We can't execute any of that until permitting is completely done because these two things can't be done at the same time.
Are there any other sites in the town that would be interested in also doing this?
Nope, no more sites. So these are just the 2 wind turbines. It's really important to know that you can't do community wind projects everywhere. You have to have enough room on the electrical grid, and these 2 wind turbines fill up the remaining capacity of the electrical grid. So no, you can't fit any more. These are the only 2 turbines we are looking at all in the entire region.
So how long are the savings, the 10% savings to the townspeople? Is that throughout the entire agreement, or is that a certain amount of time?
Yeah, so typically it depends with whom you sign up. So there's a bunch of different companies that are doing this these days. You can sign up for however long you're comfortable with, in my understanding, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. The project will be sort of guaranteed that it will be producing electricity at a discount for, I believe the state does like a 25-year deal under the VETR program, which is technical. It's a technical term, but VETR is basically the program that we would be working through. That's a 25-year program. So, wind turbines are like, it's like a really good tractor. You never scrap the whole thing. You just replace components as you go, make sure it's in good working order, and it could potentially go beyond 25 years. But yeah, this thing, as long as it's spinning, should be providing local discounted electricity.
What was the name of the website again?
This one, so glad you asked. So You guys wanna? You got one there?
Yeah, I think I've got one.
You got
I'll take it.
and please help yourself. Barragio.energy/Shelby. That's BORREGO .energy/Shelby. And again, it's just a sort of a simple landing page. It's got a bunch of good information about all the really important things about wind energy. If you Google it, obviously all the hot topics come up. So we hope we've addressed like all those questions in there. But most importantly, I do mean it, please, on the contact us page, like just pop in your question. All you got to do is send your email in there, and I get the emails directly. I live just outside of Rochester. Any questions at all, I'd be happy to come up and speak with anyone.
Now, another question here. Another question here. You say we get 10% off our bill. Now our bill's divided into two parts. Charge for power, charge for delivery. Now, do we just get 10% off of the power because we're getting it from, you're back feeding it from that one?
It's a great question, John. I don't know, to be honest with you. If I were in National Grid territory, I would, but I live in a municipal electrical utility. I don't participate in that program. I can get like a detail of that and answer it for you next time, or shoot you an email and let you know exactly kind of what the breakdown is. What I will say is, something that folks may not be aware of is it is something you have to sign up for as an individual today. So the way the rules are today, each individual has to sign up for this community renewable energy. There are changes happening at the state that allows the town to actually provide the credits to every resident of the town of Shelby. I'd be more than happy to set you up with someone that does that. We do not do that program, but there's a couple companies that help towns do that. I strongly, strongly recommend it because I've been in renewables for 16 years now, and I started doing small wind turbines for farmers and then bigger wind turbines for schools and municipalities to actually own the wind turbines themselves and plug it in to their own facilities. And I really do believe that, if you have a wind turbine anywhere near your backyard, the electricity should be staying local. What the state of New York did something right here. They did this 5 years ago. They created this program. This program actually allows local people to get their own electricity locally. The problem is it's very, very difficult to get people that are busy and don't trust what you see on the internet, or you don't trust something in the mail. It's actually quite difficult to get somebody to sign up, even if it's a guaranteed savings on the bill. So the state of New York has said, if a town passes a bylaw that says we are going to enroll every town resident in this program, every town resident, and I don't know how many residents you have off the top of my head, but literally everyone would get the credit. So that it's a bit of it's not going to help us. It's not perfectly for this project, but I really think that the town should do that. And I say this every time I go in front of a town, I would sign this up because it actually guarantees that the benefits of these community projects go to residents. So thank you for humoring my sales pitch, John, on that. But I really do think being in this business a long time, it's good to see a program that actually prioritizes getting the electricity to people locally, rather than being transmitted to New York City, which is what happens to a lot of electricity on these, like in the larger renewable energy projects.
Okay, so just theoretically here, if your power bill was $300, half was delivery, half was power, you'd save $15 per bill if it was just on the power, and $30 if it was on the total bill. That's the way you're telling it.
I think it's a credit. I think it's about 7 cents. So it depends on how much. And that's just today's numbers. Your electricity bill goes up and down. So What I'm saying is, I think it's a credit is what you get. That credit, if you look as a percentage of your bill, you have to do the math. So 7 cents per kilowatt hour. So theoretically, if the credit can be applied to any part of your bill you want. So it's a credit. It's not, I think I know where you're going, which is the old net metering laws, like the way it was before. But when I say I can get you the answer, I mean it. I can get you like, here's what it looks like. And, the companies that actually sign people up, there are plenty of them out there. We don't do that.
Right, all right. Okay, I guess that more or less answers them.
Is Barragio going to be covering all the legal fees for the town, so the taxpayers aren't going to be on the hook?
Thank you. It's a great question. Yes. So we've set up an escrow. A lot. It was not a lot. I mean, it was an appropriate amount, but there's an escrow set up. So there's a few different ways that Barragio has, let's say, made the town whole and we make sure that the town doesn't pay anything. Number one, when we first came a couple years ago to permit a meteorological tower, we paid I think it was a $4,000 application fee, or maybe it was a little less, but it was a sizable fee, which is intended to cover the costs for the town to process the applications. For this project, we also paid a fee for the town to process the application as well. Number two, there's an escrow set up, and that escrow is set up to review the project with a third-party engineer. So yes, Barragio pays all the fees that are required by the town to process the applications. And in addition, we set up an escrow for the third-party engineering to draw from.
We've already received the escrow funds.
Okay,
So you know.
great. Yep. So the escrow funds have been received. Just like repeating it.
So any unforeseen legal snags or anything, they'll completely cover it.
Yes, there's no, I do this in a lot of places. Having actual, well-funded, functioning town boards and planning boards is a really good thing. And, if we come in with a project that needs outside review, you're not asking for it. So it's 100% reasonable and within the law that the town sets an escrow up. And so, yeah, so if there's anything unforeseen, yeah, we would cover it. Any other questions and remember, if you come up with a question, jump on the website. My email's on there as well. Let me know. Be happy to talk. Unless there's anything else.
No, I think that's it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Jeff, you want to come back in?
Sorry, Ryan.
So one question we have, so we provided, we sent you guys a photo map of where we're proposing for visual simulations. And we haven't told our consultant to go out, and they go out and take the pictures, and then they will make a turbine and superimpose it on the photograph. So it's very realistic of what the turbine actually looks like. So we proposed some suggested locations to you guys. We are very happy to get feedback from you guys if you think those locations are good. If there's some other location that you think is important to the town of Shelby that we should get captured, that will help with your review. That would be helpful for us. That'd be helpful for you guys. So if you could take a look at that and let us know if you're okay with those proposed photo simulations.
So yeah,
I just have one small copy of it. But I can also email this to you too. Right now we're proposing, these are the locations that we're coordinating with all the state agencies. And this is, these are requested locations from SHPO, for the historic locations throughout the town of Shelby. So we're definitely hitting those. There's 6 proposed right now. One to the north, one to the west, and then several to the south there. So we have one along Medina Main Street Historic District, 4263 Saltworks Road. And then we have 3 locations on South Gravel Road and one on Main Street in the town of Shelby. So if there's anywhere else that you guys can think of would be important that you'd like visuals, you can take this and pass this down. Sorry, I didn't bring more copies, but
Just to clarify, you're not saying that you're going to put a turbine in those places. You're just getting pictures so that you could see what it would look like from those places, right?
correct. Yes. Yeah.
We can make copies of that and look at that and get back to them. Right. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Jeff?
Meet at this one.
Yeah, no,
Make copies?
yeah, we make copies.
Oh, you need the back?
Well, I would think so. Okay, thanks, everybody. There, if this goes forward, there will be an actual public hearing. This is just an informational meeting. Okay, highway report. Approach the dais and speak into the microphone.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Finally, it seems spring is upon us. With the weather as it was, we were not able to accomplish as much as I'd hoped by now. This week, we are ramped up to start our projects. Since last meeting, all trucks have had their plows removed, and we all had trucks and pickups oiled to help stop the corrosion from the winter. Have done some ditching with much more to do. Discovered a broken spring on the 450 and had a set installed. Our good fortune, we were able to obtain 12 loads of millings to use in our need to pave the east side Munsell Road this summer. We were able to do a quick patch that seems to be holding up, thanks to a shared service with the county. All dirt roads have been graded with some material added. We will be on them again by June 1st, and at which time we'll apply the brine for the dust control. All cemeteries and parks, fire halls, ball fields have been rolled to help in mowing. Also, most graves have been leveled and seeded. All fire halls and parks, I think I just said that, have been mowed a few times. 3 MEOs were sent for continued education, went to water school. Finally, after several phone calls, at the moment, all streetlights should be operational. I'm pleased to say, with Mother's Day behind us, the new cemetery mowers did a great job making them look good for our visitors. Other good news is Route 63 from the south of Fletcher Chapel to the railroad tracks in Medina will be resurfaced this summer. Exact date I'm unsure of. East Center Street to Walmart Albion is also scheduled to be done this summer. Went to the post office and spoke to the letter carrier. He apologized about the mail delivery and said it won't happen again. And then ending with the never-ending stacking and loading out of e-waste. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dale. Okay, assessor report, Trish.
Here. You have to press the button.
I don't have to.
You do it on this one.
Move it down. Short people.
I just want to thank the board for passing the resolution and standing behind me in the decision to hold off on the assessment update until next year. So kind of calling this 3 times a charm. So next year it's gonna come whether we want it to or not. Also, the other thing is I saw there the resolution to appoint Candy part-time, which I hope passes only because I've worked with Candy for several years. But of course, the 7th year, working with her, a lot. And she's a wealth of information and certainly a loss in the full-time position or in the position that she had. So I really hope that resolution is passed. Change of assessment notices for anyone who did any additions to their properties, or if there were any demos, those all went out. Other than that, we're just we'll prepare for grievance day, which is let's see, 25th. If that's a Wednesday, it's the 25th from 4 to 8 at the Ridgeway Town Hall. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, planning board report.
At our last meeting, I discussed with our planning board members that I would like to see them take a training on the ethics of the planners, planning, and zoning board. It is on the Orleans County website. It's on YouTube. It's about an hour and 15-minute planning for them. Also informed them that coming up on June 29th, there will be a 4-hour training in Albion by the state. And also I informed my members that if they were unable to make that 4-hour training, that there still is time on the Orleans County website to get their 4 hours training in for this year. And some of them have already taken it, and some of them are taking more. And I stress to them that if you take more than your 4 hours this year, it will carry over into next year. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, code enforcement.
I have completed my 24 hours Department of State training in April. Excuse me. I've been spring now, and building permits are starting to come in. As you know, I've lost my clerk. I also thank the board for considering Candy for just a few hours a month. We like to do a professional job with our spreadsheets. I issued 3 building permits so far without her, and I really stumbled through the first one because it's a program that I don't know. But I made my way through it. But like I say, we like to do things professionally. We like to have them professionally done. We like our spreadsheets to be neat. And she was, as Trish said, she was a wealth of information. She will be missed. And if the board so sees fit, she'd be just coming in to help me clean up my job a little bit. I also want to thank Bethany for the work for 5063 South Gravel Road for the demolition of that house. I've got an estimate today for to have it demoed and buried on site. I stopped at the fire hall tonight and I talked to Dave Moen, deputy chief, and I asked him to stop out there and take a look at it. We demoed one in East Shelby here a number of years ago, and the fire department actually burned it, but we had to have the shingles taken off. So I spoke with Dave and I said, well, if we get the shingles off somehow, would the fire department be interested in taking it down? So they're going to take a good look at it. So we're working to bring that completion, and hopefully I've got all the mailings out, and nobody responded to my letter. So I guess the banks and the parties in question aren't interested. So hopefully next month we can get that down. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Yeah, if the banks aren't interested and the owner isn't, who's going to take ownership of the property?
I think in the end, the county's going to take ownership of the property. Taxes haven't been paid.
So then it'll be off the tax rolls.
Right. It'll eventually, in my opinion, it'll go for tax auction. The property will go for tax auction.
Thanks, Dan. And just an update for everybody. We've got a shared services agreement with Ridgeway. John was on the interview committee, and there is a new code enforcement officer that's currently serving Ridgeway, Yates, and Village of Lindenville. And then he will be starting, as our code enforcement officer after the first of the year, after Dan retires from a lot of years of good service. So that's where a little transition right now, and that's what's going on. Okay, thank you. All right.
Jeff,
Yes.
I just want to say, you mentioned that will be a public hearing. The timeline that Barragio gave us was for that to be next month at the board meeting. And so there's no resolution on the agenda to schedule that for next month. So I don't know if the board wants to add that or.
What do you want to do? Okay, so we're going to have number 8 under resolutions on the back will be to
schedule a public hearing on the Barragio Community Wind Project on June 14th before the meeting. I would suggest you might want to have more time than we usually have for public hearings.
Okay, what do you say, 6:30?
6:15.
6:15? Okay.
Right.
Okay. I'm not supposed to be in this, but all right.
Well, you just won't vote on it.
No, I won't. Okay, I'll rely on Dar's give me that so I can read it when we're ready. or you can send me something down at that point of the meeting. It'd be great. Okay. All right. So resolution 5722, approve minutes of the April 12th, 2002 town board meeting. Need a motion?
So moved.
John?
Second.
Ryan, second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that one passed. Okay, 5822, approve minutes of special meeting, April 19th, 2022.
So moved.
Ryan?
No second.
Ed, second. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that one passed. Okay, resolution 5922, approve April clerk report.
So moved.
Steve
Second.
and Ryan, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, opposed? All right, that passed. Approve the supervisor report.
So second.
Okay, Steve, and then Ryan. Guess we got stereo going here. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that one passed. Okay, resolution 6122, approval to pay claims against the town.
So moved. No second.
Okay, John and Ed. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that one passed. Okay, so resolution number 6222 to accept the audit of the 2020 town books by our CPA firm, which is Allied Financial, and acknowledge the town has reviewed the audit and has addressed the findings, which were 2020-01 and 2020-02. Since this was 2020 books, they audited that time. Okay, so we need a motion for that.
I move.
Okay, Ed?
Second.
Okay, John, second. Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that one passed. Okay, resolution 6322, authorize the town supervisor to sign a shared service agreement with Orleans County Department of Public Works. This agreement will run from May 1st, 2022 to April 30th, 2027. Okay, need a motion?
So moved.
Okay, John? Steve, second. Okay, discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that one passed. Okay, resolution 6422 to allow highway superintendent to accept the lowest acceptable bid for replacement of the salt barn roof.
So moved.
Okay, Ryan?
No second.
Ed, second. Okay, discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that one passed. Okay, resolution 6522 to appoint Candy Cook as part-time code enforcement clerk. Serves as a part-time clerk and code enforcement officer to work no more than 15 hours per month, an hourly rate of $15.02, starting May 10th, 2022. So need a motion?
Second.
Steve, Ryan, second. Okay, discussion?
Yeah, I got a question. That's it's going to be till Dan's term is up or end of the year.
Yes. And I don't know. We don't have that in there. Should we? Don't have to? Okay. Yeah. That is the intent. And that's what, was Candy had stated too. That was what she wanted to do. Just help Dan out a bit. Okay. Yeah, it wouldn't be in the budget for next year, so we could handle it that way. Okay. Thank you for the help on that one. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. None opposed. All right. Resolution 6622 to have all town employees to have a Monday to Sunday pay period. Checks will be paid on Wednesday following the 2-week cycle.
So moved.
Okay, Ryan?
Second.
John, second. Okay, discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that one passed. Okay, excuse me. Okay, so this would be 6722. Oh, I can count with the Medina schools. Okay, to appoint Dorothy Nolan to the Records Committee.
So moved.
John?
I'll second.
Ed, second. Discussion? All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, that one passed. Okay, resolution 60. Yes.
Next resolution will be resolution 6822 to the resolution to reaffirm the town as a lead agency for the Barragio wind project. This is something that we did last September, but it passed, and there's been a significant amount of time that's passed, so we need to just reaffirm ourselves as the lead agency for the project. Motion to accept. Steve? Second?
No second.
Ed? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, that looks like it passed.
And I abstain.
And Jeff abstained. And then number 8 will be resolution 6922, which will be to set a public hearing for the public for the wind project. It'll be on June 14th at 6:15. So we'll go from 6:15 until basically it's over, and then we'll have the regular meeting after that. Do I have a motion? Steve, a second.
I'll second that. With just a quick comment, that maybe we better start that meeting. Put in there, if it's 6:15 and it's done at 6:30, we probably should go to at least put in as our original time to start at 7.
Right.
That way people will know that, if they get here at 1:45.
Right.
So we better stipulate
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it's
we'll-
gonna be starting at 7 after that one.
Right. Okay.
7 or immediately following.
Yeah.
the-
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, start the meeting at 7 or immediately after the public hearing, just in case it goes
Is that what
long.
you mean, or?
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, in case it goes over, or if it doesn't last.
Or if it doesn't last, right?
You know,
Okay.
If it
So if
lasts
it-
for 15 minutes, we shouldn't really start at 6:30.
Right.
Most people are used to starting the meetings at 7.
Right. Okay. Agreed.
They got another question. Is that enough time for a public notice? Be in penny saver and everything?
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. That one passed. Jeff, you want to take it back over?
Abstain. Yes. Okay, so I think that's all the motions. We have honored to have legislator Ike here. Have you got anything for us from the county? Okay, well, thank you for showing up. Okay, sounds good. Okay, board, any board comments?
Yeah, I got a quick comment. I have a quick comment here. I'd like to commend Darlene for keeping her designation as a registered municipal clerk, which she has to renew every 5 years. She went to school this year and renewed it. And the benefits to the town of having her designated as a registered municipal clerk are these schooling elevates the skill level of clerks, promotes the image of clerks' profession, enhances performance and status of clerks, enable clerks to make their skills more marketable, promote the formation of a profession identity, fosters agreement on basic values, ethics, and norms of conduct, and ensures the public that RMCs are required to possess at least a minimal level of competence. I commend Darlene on keeping up with this for the number of years that she's been our clerk.
Thank you.
Okay, any other board comments? Okay, I've got a couple, and I want to state right off from the get-go that I don't think it's the best look for town officials to be snipe at each other from the podium up here. But last meeting, we had an issue where there was some, I feel, misinformation about the health insurance for the town clerk. We did not take the health insurance away from the clerk. The clerk had to sign up for Medicare, as everybody does at a certain age. And if you don't do that, you face a lifetime penalty from the federal government. We were in the process of reworking the employee handbook to reduce confusion between office employees, elected officials, and the union shop workers, MEOs. Our intent was to clarify benefits between each group because the previous handbook was very confusing as to who had what benefits, and we were trying to fix that and also try to save the town some money. As a money-saving change, we decided to no longer offer health insurance to elected officials. At that time, which was spring of last year, we had Darlene Rich, our town clerk, and Dale Root, our highway superintendent, were the only elected officials that were getting health insurance. Once Dar got signed up for Medicare, she had the choice. She had to choose which health insurance would be her secondary, either the town or her husband's. And my last conversation with her was that it was her choice as to which insurance to take. I didn't tell her she had to take that, or I didn't tell her that she had to, take her husband's. It was her choice as to what she wanted to do. And then we did hold off on passing the changes to the employee handbook until the situation was resolved, because we did not want to take the health insurance away from a longtime employee. So we want to passing that handbook revisions in August, and that is in there that that any employee that had town health insurance at the time would be able to keep it, and it wasn't something we took away. Okay, we're up to public comment.
I'd like to speak.
Go ahead.
First of all, when I turned 65 in February, I was told in April, the bookkeeper came in and said, you need to go off the town insurance now. You're 65, you can't be on the health insurance. What have we got? She's, I don't know, but you've got to go off the health insurance. So I had to research on my own to try to find out what we had, because the town wouldn't give me any answers. I talked to Jeff. He had no answers for me either. He keeps saying I had to go on Medicare. First of all, I am on Medicare secondary. I have a insurance that I'm taking. Medicare is secondary. I never could have gone on the Medicare at first unless I would have gone on my own. So I went on the Medicare only as a secondary. I'm on a different insurance. I had contacted Jeff several times to try to figure out what there was for me. He kept first of all, if he didn't answer me, and then when he did, it was like, well, we don't know yet. We gotta wait till the handbook comes out. Well, it was just weird that when and it said from till June 30, I found out June 16th that I still hadn't found out what was going to happen with my insurance. So that's when I ended up going with another insurance. And June 30th was the date that my insurance was no longer good for the town, with the town. Then, per the handbook, as of July 1, town elected officials will not be covered under any kind of insurance. So it was kind of sneaky the way it was done. It was not, I do not have Medicare first. I got to get that straight. I am not on Medicare. I'm on another insurance with Medicare as secondary. I was never given an option from the town as to what there was for me. So I had to do this all on my own, and I was afraid of having a penalty because nothing was being done. So that's why I went out on my own. I was never told that I was going to be out on, you're going to be able to go on your husband's insurance, you're going to go on other insurance. I was never told anything the town had. I don't know what the town had. I guess nothing for me. So I just needed to clarify that.
Okay, a couple competing versions you guys can choose. Anybody else? Okay, need a motion to adjourn? John?
Second.
Ryan, second? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, opposed? Okay, that one passed. Thank you, folks. Need to see you. Did Phil leave already? Okay, I need to